General Hospital spoilers for Wednesday, May 7th tease that Brook Lynn is facing a stressful internal crisis as everything she tried to keep hidden suddenly becomes a burden she can no longer bear. Secrets about Gio, the child she gave up for adoption at a young age, are slowly being revealed, and as Tracy begins to grasp important clues about Joe's true identity, Brook Lynn can't help but feel like she's being dragged deeper into an irreversible war. All her plans and calculations are now meaningless, as the cover-up she's built is suddenly threatened by the very family she thought would always be on her side. Confusion and panic are rising in Brook Lynn's heart as she realizes that her efforts to keep her child hidden, despite all the years she's been through, are now spiraling out of control. Complicated family relationships, wrong decisions in the past, are no longer stories that only exist in personal memories but have begun to become problems that the whole family must face. The truth about Gio is not only related to a child but also related to her own past and the difficult relationships that she has been unable to resolve. Tracy, with her sharpness and instinct to protect her family, begins to dig deeper into the secret, and all of Brook Lynn's efforts to hide it gradually become futile. Brook Lynn's confusion increases day by day as she realizes that Tracy is getting closer and closer to the truth. Tracy's questions are not simply curiosity, but serious interrogations, forcing Brook Lynn to face the past that she once wanted to bury. Every time Tracy discovers a new detail, Brook Lynn feels like she is trapped in a trap that she herself created, but cannot escape. However, what scares Brook Lynn most is not just Tracy's gradual discovery of the truth about Gio, but the price that will be paid when the family's secrets are exposed. She knows that once this truth is revealed, not only Brook Lynn but the entire Quartermaine family will face serious consequences. All the stability she has worked so hard to build in the family will collapse, and the relationships that have existed for so long will be broken beyond repair. Conflicts within the family will escalate, and she herself will become the target of constant criticism and judgment. The haunting thing that Brook Lynn is facing is not only Tracy's discovery, but also the feeling of losing control completely. She cannot change the past, but she must face the serious consequences of her own decisions. Each day that passes, each confrontation with Tracy makes things worse. This is proving to be one of the biggest explosions in the Quartermaine family. The story of Gio, of the complicated family relationships, is now not just a personal secret but a big story that is starting to dominate the entire family. And when the truth about Gio is gradually revealed, it is not only a shock to Brook Lynn, but also a shock to the whole family, where secrets, family conflicts that have never been resolved will begin to fall apart. Tracy, with all her determination, cannot stop in her search for the truth. She gradually realizes that family secrets cannot be hidden forever, and now, what Brook Lynn has tried to hide for so many years is in danger of exploding more strongly than ever. Every time Tracy gets closer to the truth, Brook Lynn feels herself being pushed further and further into an inescapable position. She is losing control and there is nothing she can do to stop it. Everything is now not just a discovery but an irreversible disaster. Brook Lynn's feelings of confusion, anxiety, and helplessness are putting her in a very difficult position. Not only is she facing a huge shock, but she also has to accept that all the efforts to keep the Quartermaine family stable are falling apart piece by piece. Every step, every action she takes now only pushes the family further into an abyss that no one can save. The story of Gio has become an uncontrollable time bomb, and Tracy is the one who is detonating it. Everything is going crazy, and there is only one question: can the Quartermaine family heal these wounds, or will Tracy be the one to face the consequences of the decisions she has made? Jocelyn and Vaughn sat across from each other, a new report Brennan had just sent them. Although the information in the report was nothing new in terms of data, to them, every number, every line contained a potential danger that neither of them could ignore. The more they read the information, the more they realized that the threats they had once thought were temporary incidents or controllable situations were now real dangers that could destroy everything. The names and secret plans revealed in the report began to push them into an unpredictable, dangerous situation. Jocelyn, who had strong and decisive instincts, could not help but feel drawn into a dangerous game. What she thought was a simple investigation now turns into a game of life and death, where she must not only deal with the enemies on the surface, but also face hidden conspiracies that they do not know about. The more Jocelyn learns about the events, the more she realizes that what she is doing is not only to protect herself and those around her from the obvious enemies, but also to protect herself from the unseen forces, the shadows that lurk behind every situation they face. Vaughn, with his calm and analytical ability, is the one who begins to outline a plan to deal with these dangers. He knows that if they continue down this path without a clear strategy, they will only fall into a bigger trap, and there will be no escape. But the tension they face is inevitable. As the days go by, the situation becomes more and more complicated, as they realize that their goal is not only to fight against external enemies, but also to deal with hidden forces, conspiracies woven in the dark. For Jocelyn and Vaughn, this war is now not only about finding the truth but also about survival. They are faced with a plan of destruction that neither of them could have foreseen. Both Jocelyn and Vaughn realize that they are on a path from which there is no turning back. The confrontations, the explosive situations that they cannot control are now just the first step in a crazy chain of events that is about to happen. Both have meticulously planned to deal with these dangers, but they cannot imagine that the people they are targeting have a much darker plan. This war not only puts them in danger, but also pushes them to unimaginable boundaries. Once they delve too deep into this world, there is no turning back. Their story becomes increasingly crazier as the dangers come not only from their immediate enemies but also from those they once trusted. The relationship between Jocelyn and Vaughn also gradually changes, as they realize that they are not just lone warriors in this war but must become a strong team, relying not only on each other physically but also understanding each other mentally. As the world around them gradually falls apart, as they face unforeseen shocks, it is this relationship that will determine whether they can survive and overcome this war. The shocks begin to pile up as Jocelyn and Vaughn realize that their plan to destroy is not just a reaction to the dangers before them, but a preparation for the inevitable war. Their enemies are not just organizations, or simple people they can deal with strength or intelligence. The real enemy is a system, a network that has existed for a long time. And now they must enter a war where everything can change overnight. Every action, every decision they make is now not only a matter of survival for themselves but also a matter of protecting everything they hold dear. As things come to a head, Jocelyn and Vaughn cannot turn back. They must carry out their plan of destruction, not because they want to, but because it is necessary. And while things get crazier and more dangerous, both are aware that this war is not just a confrontation with an external enemy but a struggle with the ghosts of the past, with the choices they must make, and with themselves. Only when they can face all of this can they hope to escape the storm they have found themselves in. Christina, with her decisiveness and sharp calculation, decided that she could not sit idly by and watch Ava continue to manipulate and threaten her family, especially when she was using blackmail to control Alexis. Although Christina had always been gentle and somewhat tolerant in difficult situations, this time, that respect and patience were no longer an option. She could not bear to see her mother being threatened and coerced, especially when Alexis, who had always protected her family unconditionally, was now a pawn in Ava's power game. Unable to let her mother continue to suffer, Christina decided to take matters into her own hands, not only to protect Alexis but also to protect the stability of the family. With meticulous and intelligent calculation, Christina made an offer to Ava, an offer that was not simply a negotiation or compromise. It was a veiled threat. A strategy that would make Ava rethink what she had done. Christina understood that in order to end this manipulation and blackmail, she needed to create a shock strong enough to make Ava lose her place in the power struggle she was forcing the Quartermain family into. But Christina also knew that such an offer was not an invitation to peace, but a hidden battle that she would be forced to join to protect everything she loved. This offer, while seemingly a diplomatic agreement, was in fact a strategic move. Christina wanted not only to end the blackmail, but also to demonstrate to Ava that she would not easily let her continue to control her family. This was a move that Christina knew would make Ava rethink every plan she had made. However, she also realizes that Ava is an extremely dangerous opponent, and this is not just a simple confrontation but a great battle of power, trust, and family. There is no room for error in this battle. The story between Christina and Ava becomes more and more tense as things go beyond a simple negotiation or compromise. With each question, each word from Christina, Ava feels pushed to the defensive. And her hidden schemes are gradually revealed. Christina has no intention of backing down. She knows that to extinguish this threat, she must become tough and fierce. She needs a strong strategy. Not only to threaten Ava but also to rebuild trust in the Quartermaine family. Christina's proposal is not only a shock to Ava but also a carefully calculated next step, to protect the family. Protect Alexis and consolidate the power of the Quartermaine family. As each day passes, the story becomes crazier as Christina realizes that she is not only dealing with Ava, but also with hidden forces that she cannot predict. Every plan, every move is potentially dangerous and can make things more complicated than ever. Although Christina is very intelligent and sharp in calculation, she cannot help but feel the pressure and threat from Ava increasing. Ava is not someone who is easily subdued. And when Christina realizes that she is entering a war with an unpredictable outcome, a feeling of anxiety and insecurity begins to appear in her heart. As things escalate, Christina understands that she cannot stop. In order to protect her family and stop Ava's manipulation, she will have to go all the way. Each new shock, each new truth revealed, pushes this war into a situation where Christina cannot back down. She made Ava an offer. But she knew it was only the beginning of a battle that she and the Quartermaine family would have to fight to protect everything they had. With each step, Christina realized that this was not just a fight against Ava, but also a fight against the wrong decisions of the past, against forces she could not control. Her offer was not only to solve the blackmail problem, but to put her family back on track, and more importantly, to make it clear once again that the Quartermaine family was not to be trifled with. Christina's plans were all about protecting what mattered most, and no matter how crazy things got, she would not back down. Gio, with all the stress and responsibility he is carrying, begins to realize that his past decisions are leading to serious consequences that cannot be undone. Although he has always tried to hide the secrets of the dangers that Rocco has faced, now that he is standing before Emma, Gio cannot hide anymore. The relationship between him and Emma, which was already full of conflicts and misunderstandings, now deepens as Gio begins to open up about what he has been through, about the burdens he has been carrying. With the truth gradually revealed, Gio realizes that he cannot continue to live in the dark, cannot hide the consequences that he has to face. Rocco, the child he not only considers a brother but also someone he feels he must protect, is now facing dangers that Gio cannot avoid. His poor decisions, his past struggles, now fall on his shoulders like a giant boulder, weighing down on everything he loves. Standing before Emma, Gio realizes that he can no longer hide, and the truth must finally be revealed. The tension inside him reaches its peak as he begins to feel that Emma is the only one who can understand what he is going through. Joe's confessions are not only about his actions towards Rocco, but also about the choices he has made, the mistakes he cannot undo, and the inner turmoil he feels as he knows that he may have caused irreversible consequences. Each story Gio tells about the difficult decisions he has faced makes it clear that he is not only responsible for the dangers that are coming, but also the one who is tormenting himself for what he has done. Emma, with understanding and an open heart, gradually realizes that behind Joe's cold and decisive appearance, there is a person full of hurt and inner conflict. She realizes that the relationship between her and Gio is not just an external struggle but also a long journey to resolve pain, fear and unspoken feelings. Their relationship is moving in a new direction, challenging but also fascinating. Gio is no longer the one who only knows how to protect himself and his family. But now he is opening up, gradually letting Emma understand what he has been through. The stories he shares make Emma feel the fragility in Gio, and she begins to realize that he is not only a strong man but also a person with a painful heart. Their story gradually transforms from a relationship full of tension to a passionate and hopeful love, where each word shared, each moment facing the truth brings them a deeper connection than ever. This relationship is no longer just about facing dangers, but also about learning to love, forgive and accept each other's flaws. Gio and Emma are building a new love story together, full of drama and understanding. And while everything around them seems to get crazier and crazier, they find strength in each other, a love that grows out of trials and tribulations, giving them both new hope. Lulu, after all the turmoil and pain her family has been through, is now faced with a truth she can no longer ignore. Her gratitude for those who saved Rocco's life is still strong, but deep down, Lulu can't help but feel a weight weighing on her. Rocco is safe, but the truth about Gio, the child she never knew, has now thrust her into a situation she can no longer avoid. The story of Gio, his true identity, is a family secret that Lulu has long been able to avoid. But now it is spreading beyond her control and threatening to shatter what she is trying to protect. As events unfold, Lulu feels that the truth cannot be kept hidden forever. The Quartermaine family cannot continue to live in secrecy. The story of Gio, that he is the son of Brook Lynn and Dante, can no longer be hidden. Lulu couldn't help but feel the pressure mounting as her family began to suspect the secrets she was keeping. What made her even more confused was whether she could continue to keep quiet, when this truth not only concerned herself but also everyone in the Quartermaine family. The decision to reveal this truth was not easy for Lulu. She couldn't help but feel like she was standing at a major turning point, where every choice would have unpredictable consequences. If she revealed Joe's identity, the family would face a huge shock. The tension between family members would become worse, and no one could foresee the consequences. Lulu knew that, if she didn't share this truth, there would not only be threats from the outside but also irreparable cracks in her family. But revealing the truth would destroy the relationship she had worked so hard to build. And it was uncertain whether the family could ever recover from the revelation. Lulu's confusion grew. She realized that she was dealing with not just a family secret, but also an issue of honesty and trust. Her decision to reveal the truth would risk losing the trust of those closest to her, but if she didn't, she would always feel guilty for keeping the secret for so long. Lulu began to realize that no matter what decision she made, her family would inevitably suffer. As things escalated, Lulu found herself cornered into a situation she couldn't escape. The truth about Gio could no longer be hidden, but the impact it would have on the Quartermaine family was unpredictable. She feels like everything hinges on this choice. If she reveals the truth, her family could fall apart, but if she doesn't, she'll have to live with the feeling that she's betrayed the people she loves most. The feeling of losing control is growing, and Lulu can't stop thinking about all the possible consequences. The events unfolding are like a great storm brewing, and Lulu can only watch as things spiral into a direction she can't control. With each passing day, the tension inside her grows, as her family begins to suspect the secrets she's kept. The truth she's been avoiding is now more than just a personal problem, it's a crisis for the Quartermaine family. And in the process, Lulu also realizes something even more important. The truth may tear the Quartermaine family apart, but her silence is the seed of doubt and conflict. She's faced with a situation where no choice is perfect. The decision to reveal the truth about Gio will be a huge shock to the family, but Lulu cannot continue to live in secrecy. This will change everything, not only within the family but also in her relationships with each member. With this decision, nothing will be the same again. Everything Lulu has built may now be shattered, and the Quartermaine family will face an unprecedented challenge. This change is not only about revealing the truth, but also about facing the deep conflicts within each family member. Lulu knows that, no matter the painful shock, she will not be able to continue to hide the truth. But when she decides to speak out, not only the Quartermaine family but she will face a whole new world, more challenging and difficult than ever before.